propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun. You can feel it. Hi, I'm Alex Jones. When I got on air 20 years ago, I weighed 180 pounds. I lift weights 5 days a week. I could swim 2-3 miles. Then I discovered the New World Order, the globalists, their agenda. I started an Access television show. I was so dedicated to my work and hanging around with radio guys that I began drinking. I began smoking cigars and then even cigarettes. I transformed from looking like a white Bruce Lee to looking like a Jabba the Hutt. So I began a journey 5 years ago to shed the almost 100 pounds. I started taking Super Male Vitality and saw dramatic results in just a few weeks. When I added to the mix the key products developed by Dr. Group for InfoWarsLife.com, the results were incredible. Take the InfoWarsLife.com challenge today at InfoWarsLife.com or give our crew a call. They can answer all your questions or tell you about any of the specials at 888-253-3139. Ladies and gentlemen, InfoWarsLife.com is offering some of the biggest specials we've ever had. 50% off the super high-quality colloidal silver bullet. Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com is free of GMOs, gluten, additives, heavily concentrated in pure deionized water, electrically stabilized to improve potency, can store in your preparedness pack or medicine cabinet for years. Silver Bullet colloidal silver, 30 parts per million, now $14.95, down from $29.95. You cannot beat this deal. 50% off on Silver Bullet colloidal silver and free shipping. Now you know that's going to anger the control freaks. We've also launched the Alex Jones Challenge Pack, the 3 InfoWars Life products that help take me to the next level. Oxy Powder to flush out the upper and lower intestines, Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2, and Super Male Vitality fused together have given me and many others amazing results. Discover the groundbreaking, powerfully simple products at InfoWarsLife.com.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
I want to slow down a little bit because I haven't hosted the show in 5 days. I took vacation time off with my family. I was unable because of family issues to take a spring break vacation, so I took off 5 days. I did file reports from the road. I did call into the show. Every time I leave, a new conspiracy arises. Where's Alex Jones? Why doesn't he host the show? I host the broadcast more than other syndicated talk show hosts. Most other syndicated talk show hosts have trouble being on air. They're exhausted. Because I know a bunch of them, they don't want to be on air. They take off an average of 5 weeks a year. I take off on average 3 weeks a year. That's less than pretty much anybody. And I do the nightly news, and I do special reports, and I make films, and I run a media operation, and I do a Sunday show you're listening to right now. So just to be clear, wild horses can't drag me away. But when I've been gone for a week, I want to talk 100 miles an hour. I've got so much I want to say. So one reason I take off is people have noticed I'm more focused and more dynamic when I have taken time off. But usually at first I'm a little hyper. This week is going to be some powerful radio because now I've kind of relaxed a little bit. I've gotten out of the gates. I've already run the first circle here, the first lap, and I'm ready to go. In fact, the second hour is coming up. We haven't even begun to get into all this news yet. Getting back to the footage released by the known certified Nazi separatist group that our government and NATO are backing. And you ask why? Well, it's still a fight from World War II. The west of Ukraine got taken over by the Nazis. And then the east got taken over by the Russians. But the east has always been part of Russia. I'm not defending it. It's just a fact. And then now the West has overthrown an elected government a year and a half ago, started a civil war, and they're now persecuting Russians in the East. So Russian soldiers are there backing them. And now NATO forces are openly fighting the Russians. We talked about this a year ago. Now it's in the news. It's unprecedented. It's dangerous. And you've got to say the Ukrainian Western groups really are unsavory. Doesn't mean that Western Ukrainians don't have real beefs with Russian occupation in the past. Doesn't mean the Russians don't do horrible things. But, man, you really got to wonder when they wear swastikas on their arms and NATO funds them. And George Soros, the admitted Nazi collaborator, is funding Nazis again. It's like, what is an 87-year-old man doing? He's supposed to be fishing. Thanking God he wasn't brought up in Nuremberg trials. Why does he? Because he says he's liberal. Just like Apple can have death camp factories with suicide nets and forced abortions where they chain up women's kids at power poles where they crap on the ground. I mean, you can't make this up. That's mainstream news. Of course, Apple funds social groups in this country that if your kid's playing outside, the police take them. But then over there, they run slave camps. But they go around going, liberal, oh, George Soros, liberal, oh. Here, let's play some of the liberal Nazis burning people. Burning the Russian separatists. Here it is. So they're setting him on fire. Hits him in the stomach. They got him gagged with duct tape around his mouth. This guy's just saying, hurry up, please. That's the position I'd be in. Just get this over with. Okay. And this is the type of terror they're engaged in to scare everybody. I don't know why thugs always think doing this will make people back off. It makes you fight harder. And then it goes on from there with him burning to death. And again, we can show you tons of ISIS stuff like this as well. We only show it occasionally just to document it. You know, my dad's dad saw a lot of things in World War II. In fact, the worst stuff wasn't when he did his 22 missions for the Army Air Corps, because about half the time, 22 missions, you died. Especially in the time he was flying over Europe in 1943, right with the invasion. Out of North Africa into Italy. But he would never let, I've told the story 50 times, I'll tell it again. He would never let my dad or my uncle waste food when they'd go to the cafeteria. He would just wait, whatever they didn't eat, he'd eat. Even though he'd grown up upper middle class in the Depression and had plenty of food, it was his experience watching starving children in Italy and Germany. After he'd served his tour in the air, they stuck him as a non-commissioned officer over supply. And he would watch the people starving to death, begging for food, and he'd have to turn them away because he wasn't authorized to give it to them, but then he would end up giving them his dinner and things, these families, and he would save whatever was in the mess halls, orders, and then bring that out. And I'm not saying he was some saint. A normal person would see people starving by the thousands in places like Rome and then on into Germany, and you know, really got to him. And he would never watch violent movies. I mean, he didn't like it when I was a kid before he died on Gunsmoke when somebody gets shot. And it wasn't because he was a wimp. It was because he'd seen so many dead people and piles of dead bodies. And he died when I was pretty young, but I talked to some of the guys that were World War II vets that used to hunt on our ranch when I was a kid. And I always say, oh, tell me a war story, tell me a war story. And they never would. And they finally told me war stories. Just the huge piles of dead bodies in Italy and Germany. Not just people killed in the death camps, but just millions starving to death. Just amazing things. And so I love how, though, people will get upset by real footage and say, oh, you shouldn't play that, but then they don't care if we watch simulated murders and deaths in movies like Saw, where the good guy tortures people to death, or Jack Bauer tortures people, and it's all sexy and cool until there's the real violence. And it's the general population's refusal to live in the real world. That's the big struggle, is between make-believe and reality. And people get so conditioned and desensitized, and their normalcy bias gets so ragged out that they're ready to accept any real tyranny and have no real empathy when it's happening to their neighbor. And it's because I've noticed the weaker the person, the more disconnected from reality a person is, the more they love violence when it's simulated. I mean, I went and saw Fast and Furious just to analyze it. It was like a Disney ride where people drive down cliffs 10 miles through brush and boulders and their car doesn't pop a tire. You know, just the most Alice in Wonderland fantasy. And I was watching grown men, black, white, you name it, getting off on it. It's like I've gone and seen Marvel comic movies with grown men and they get all excited when Iron Man's flying around and stuff, and it's just like, none of that's real. Do you understand a real war for human liberties going on around you right now? An epic, over-the-top battle on a planet that's having earthquakes and giant volcanoes and just nebulas and fission fusion and nuclear reactors and hadron and genetic engineering, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It is such a wild, incredible universe. And the average man, I know, wants to watch sports and a bunch of narcissistic steroid heads act crazy and say they're God. I mean, how boring is that? I mean, let me tell you, it gets boring real quick when people tell you how great you are all day and, oh, my gosh, you're on TV. I mean, I can't imagine one of these Jay-Z types or one of these other narcissist types who just, I mean, I can't even tune into sports or the Mayweather fight because of all the arrogance and then all the crooks that run it and all the, it's just, that's not humanity. That doesn't represent who we are, but we're force-fed all the lowest common denominators to make us simulate and repeat that behavior. And I know we all know this, but are we conscious of it? How they're using peer pressure to turn us into something worse than animals. Because at least animals will stick up for each other. At least a cornered bobcat will fight to the death to protect its children. Humans will stand down and turn their kids over to the state like wolves. We're going to go to break, come back, start the next hour. U.S. media blackout, Italian court rules vaccines cause autism, document released, huge bombshell info. The move with kill switches to not let you control your own thermostat of your own car. Can't make that up. Huge news on what's killing the honeybees, major breakthroughs on that front, huge economic breakthrough news. Why is J.P. Morgan accumulating the biggest stockpile of physical gold in history? But before I end this hour, it's you spreading the word about this broadcast and the free podcasts and the free video feeds and our AM and FM affiliates that make it all possible. Spread the word today and tomorrow and the next day. And get some of the best nutraceuticals out there. Survival Shield. Nation Iodine, that so many people are lacking in, with a free bottle of Fluoride Shield Chelating Detoxer, free bottle with the 2 bottles of Survival Shield. You can also get 2 bottles, our best deal ever, of high-quality Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver. Read about all the amazing benefits, studies, and details at InfoWarsLife.com. You get a free bottle of Fluoride Shield as well. That deal ends in just 5 days when the month expires. And a lot of other specials at InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And know you're funding the tip of the spear. Introducing Secret 12, the new InfoWars Life vitamin B12 formulation. Secret 12 is a binary of nutramedical grade, bioavailable coenzyme forms of B12, methylcobalamin, the same kind used in B12 injections, and adenosylcobalamin. Secret 12 is simply taken by mouth, right on the tongue, and then swallowed. No needles, no injections. Secure your revolutionary Secret 12 formula right now at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here. For the last 2 years, I've been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to design a nutraceutical formulation that has truly life-changing health benefits. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. Visit InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Hey, how you doing, Alex?
Good, brother.
Just recently started using your products. Everything you said about them's correct. Me and my wife both use a lot of them, and it's made a lot of changes in our lives here.
Well, thank you, brother, because it also funds our operation. But doing that, I know I've got to have the highest quality. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals.
We do the Super Male and the Super Female Vitality. Big changes, a lot of energy. We've gotten off of the cheap energy drinks, energy shots, saving a ton of money there.
Sourced from powerful organic herbs, harvested around the planet, and then concentrated for maximum potency. They want to stun and dumb down, and energy drinks and stuff just cover that up for a while, but then burn you out, in my experience, whereas stuff that gets your glands naturally going goes right to the source. So it's pretty exciting, and I love it. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.